What is going on, everybody? So this is one of the newest properties I just purchased. It's a 2-bedroom, 1-bath condo, and it might be one of the smallest properties I've ever purchased. Now, the plan with this one is to fix it up, put a Section 8 tenant in there because you can get a significant amount in this area, and then refinance the property. So the bank's gonna require 25% equity. I purchased this property at $105,000, and it should hopefully appraise after it's fixed up for about 150, 160, maybe as high as 170 if I make the property look really good. And a couple interesting things to note about this property is that you're just a minute or two away from FedEx Field where the Washington football team plays. So if you're a Washington football team fan, definitely drop it in the comments below. And also, it's the same neighborhood where Sugar Ray Leonard actually grew up. I don't know if it was right here or the next one over, but very close to where he grew up. So pretty cool facts. So this property needs a ton of work, and let's go check it out. Okay, so the very first thing we're gonna do is repaint this door, do a nicer, more upscale door handle, because with condos, there's only really so much you can do as far as curb appeal goes, because you have different restrictions within the community, but we're gonna do everything possible to make it look good before you even walk in. And then as you can see here, you got this nasty wallpaper, you got little figures on the outlets and switches, and this whole thing, we're gonna repaint the entire property. This flooring as you walk in is not bad. However, I got a flooring guy and I think I can get a pretty good deal. So we're gonna redo this entire flooring, and we'll take a look at some of the carpet. It's pretty bad, but probably with a luxury vinyl plank. All right, so as far as the kitchen goes, you got this light that looks like it was in a middle school trailer of some sort. The kitchen, the appliances, I think they're probably working. I would consider these below average. So I'm probably going to find some type of deal for 3 different appliances, probably go with some type of stainless steel. Maybe it'll cost hopefully around $2,000 to replace all the appliances. I'm also going to get rid of the countertops. The cabinets I'm going to try to save. They're definitely not the nicest cabinets, but they're still functional, and what I can do is paint them and then put new hardware on them, and they should still be able to function. We're also going to do a new backsplash. We got to get GFCI outlets here, and this cabinet is just a little bit out of place, so we'll probably just try to hopefully fix that. We might have to replace it. As far as the sink goes, that's actually an easy way to make the property look a lot nicer. So we're gonna get a big, maybe some type of farmhouse style sink. Everybody seems to love that. Anytime you say farmhouse style, people just seem to give a lot of value to that. So this whole window area is kind of cool. It gets some more natural light, but it's also, it's cracked right there. So we're gonna replace that pane if we can, and just clean this up. This just looks very poorly done and just hasn't been taken care of very well. So we're gonna do is I'm gonna talk to the contractor as far as the final plans, but we're gonna fix this up and make it look good. Okay, so here's the laundry. And when I was working with the seller, when I was talking and negotiating with the seller, they said they spent over $2,000 on these appliances, and this was like the holdup of the sale. She really wanted money for the appliances, so we factored that in. Typically appliances just come with the property, but this might be the nicest part of the entire house. I'm definitely keeping those. All right, so it might be a little dark in here, but as you can see, this is basically our only light. So what we're gonna do in here, we'll probably do some type of track lighting or recess lighting depending on what we can get done. New floors, like I mentioned, some type of luxury vinyl plank. We are going to paint this entire place so it, a light, probably some type of white or gray, so it just looks a lot lighter, obviously. And then we have the backyard. So take a look at these doors. These things are in complete disrepair. We might have to replace the door. So we're actually not even able to get outside yet just because this door is all messed up. There's different locks on it and everything. You wouldn't believe how many times people just leave bikes, and we got this cooker. I'm not a huge barbecue person, but maybe there's some value to that. I'm not exactly sure. And the HVAC, the air conditioning unit, actually looks like it's newer. And I looked at the furnace over there, and it looks like it's last 5 years or so. So it's actually kind of a scenic backyard. You back to trees. What we're gonna do though is we're gonna put up a little fence right there, get rid of all the trash, and probably do some type of minor landscaping to make it look a little bit better than what it is now, which shouldn't be too hard. All right, they even left me a spare tire right here. We got weights, spare tires, bicycles. We got all types of stuff in this house. So I'm not even sure what's upstairs. All right, so with this stairway, I actually like the railing, so we're just gonna repaint this, but then we'll probably do some type of nicer carpet, get rid of this, paint the wall, you know, make this thing look a lot better. I've even seen some stairways, they have like cool lighting and stuff like that, so who knows, maybe we'll get a little fancy. All right, so this is bedroom number 1. Ceiling height is pretty low. I'm not that tall, I'm probably like 6'1", 6'2" on a good day. But what we're gonna do in here, we need to make sure all the windows are working because it has to pass for the Section 8 inspection, and sometimes they can be pretty strict. So we'll make sure windows are good. We'll do new flooring. It's probably going to be carpet upstairs and then vinyl plank downstairs. And then we are going to basically repaint the entire room. We'll put nicer door handles. We got to make this place look as nice as possible for the appraiser, and also it's just nice to have nicer renovations done. Let's take a look at the other bedroom. Now this is the master bedroom right here. This window's actually been open for a little bit. It's probably actually a good thing, get some fresh air in here because it just smells horrible. This carpet, I don't even know how to describe this carpet. I mean, there might even be, I need to watch where I'm stepping around here. But we'll do new floors, we'll paint. If we can do a light fixture, we'll do a light fixture, but the ceiling height is so low, I'm not sure. We might have to do recessed lights. But this is a condo, so we'll have to, you know, obviously check if we're doing different renovations like that. Look at this, you got the nature views from the bedroom, so we'll probably have to do new windows. And who doesn't want to look at that? Look at that, look at all that green. Okay, so relatively speaking, compared to the rest of the property, this bathroom is not very bad. So we'll probably keep the tile, probably just repaint it or make it look a little bit nicer. We're gonna do a new shower kit just to upgrade this, give it a nicer feel. New flooring here, probably some type of peel and stick bathroom flooring, which is really popular these days, or maybe a tile. And then we're gonna get an upgraded vanity, new light, new mirror, and just paint. So pretty straightforward. This potentially was a leak from above, so I'm gonna have to have my contractor take a look at it, make sure there's no issues, make sure the fan is working. But this should be relatively straightforward, and it's gonna look a lot better for not too much. All right, so every property, there's always like one thing, even these fixer-upper houses, there's always one thing that you really wanna keep, and I think I found what I'm looking for. Las Vegas, baby. If you like Vegas, comment in the section below your favorite place to stay. But this thing's not bad. All right, so that's the before tour. This is one of the smallest properties I've ever done, probably the smallest. So it should only probably take about 2 to 4 weeks to do all the renovations, you know, flooring, painting. There's really not much to do here. So hopefully we can get it turned around pretty quickly. All right, so we just finished up with this renovation project. I'm gonna take you through the entire deal. I'm gonna show you what we did. And to start with, you know, you have to have good curb appeal when you're selling a property. So we shaped up the landscaping a little bit. We added some grass here. The next thing we did was we replaced the hardware. So that's a very simple fix that you can do that a lot of investors sometimes overlook. So we did new hardware here. We painted this door. I kind of like this door. Kind of has a cool look to it. So I didn't want to get rid of it and put some glass, you know, storm door. I kind of like the way this looks. You know, it's got the cool door knocker and everything. We kept this original door and we painted it, put a new knocker as well as a new door handle. And this door handle, I think it was about $150, but you know, you see some houses where it might be a $600,000 or $700,000 house, and then they have some cheap little door handle. So I'm a big door handle guy, so this one, I'll put the SKU numbers below in this video for all the materials we used, but I think it looks really good. And then we also replaced the light fixture and the numbers. So as far as curb appeal, you know, landscaping, paint, fixtures, and then, you know, we also did a new window. So the window is a little bit more expensive, but you know, there's a lot of just smaller things you can do to make a house look really good. So let's check out the inside. All right, so as we come in, one of the first things you'll notice is the brand new floors. So these are luxury vinyl plank floors, which are really popular nowadays. They look great, they're affordable, And this is actually going to, originally I wanted to make this a rental property, so they're great for rental properties, but it turns out I'm actually just going to list it and sell it. It's actually under contract right now, and it still has a very nice upgraded feel to it. Then we have the coat closet, and we didn't do really too much in here. We just pretty much painted it. But one thing you'll notice, we kind of did the upgraded door handles throughout the entire property. And that's one thing that you can do to make your properties, even if you don't want to do a full renovation, if you literally just paint and do door handles and maybe some light fixtures, that your property will look completely different. So let's go check out the kitchen. All right, so for the kitchen, what we did was brand new appliances. And with these ones, this house is not, it's really not that expensive. If you want to guess the price, you can put it in the comment section below. But we did probably appliances that were a little bit nicer than we should have. I could have gotten the cheapest stainless steel appliances. I probably got more of a mid-range. Just wanted the property to stand out a little bit more. And these appliances, the total package, microwave, stove, dishwasher, refrigerator, was about $3,500 for installation and everything like that. Then we did the butcher block countertops, which kind of gives it a pretty nice feel. You know, a lot of people do quartz with some of these higher end houses. This house, I think it looks fine. I was very happy with these contractors. They did a really good job. And then as far as the sink, tried to get pretty much the biggest sink I could have. There's not a ton of counter space, but the bigger the sink, I think it looks a little bit better. You know, a lot of people like the farmhouse style sink, so we tried to really get as big as possible with that. Next up, we have the cabinets. And with these cabinets, we actually kept the original cabinets. And what we did is we basically just replaced the hardware. So you can see when you open them up, you know, they're still completely functional, but they're not, they're not brand new. And that's a very easy way to give your cabinets an upgraded look without having to spend, several, $5,000, $10,000, $15,000. So I think they actually look pretty good. We just put the stainless steel on them. And then we did the subway tile backsplash. So another way to, do some simple upgrades to your property is just doing a nice backsplash. And subway tiles, pretty in right now. And really the best way is just look at all the comps, look at what the highest comp sold for, and then do, a similar style renovation. And then lastly, in the kitchen, we did a brand new window. So this had some weird window setup that just wasn't very nice looking previously. And windows right now are extremely hard to get. So luckily my contractor, I was trying to order windows myself, and they were like, okay, do you want them delivered 4 months from now or 5 months from now? And so it was kind of crazy. So luckily we were able to get windows pretty quickly, some nice, vinyl, good quality windows. So I was pretty happy about that. So I'm gonna show you the laundry room right here. And if you're in an urban area in a city, it's super important, really no matter where you are, super important to have laundry inside the actual unit. As you can see, we painted the door, did the nice door handle. And this laundry, so this was actually here when I purchased the property. And I remember the seller was very, she kept telling me about how nice her laundry was. And I think she spent $2,000 on all this. So this was the nicest thing in the entire property. And there's no, if you have laundry that's in good condition, there's no reason, if you have a washer and dryer, there's no reason to really replace those unless you're doing a full gut renovation. So I think someone's gonna be really happy with these. And then the furnace was also in good condition. So again, I'm not gonna spend $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 on a brand new furnace if it's working fine and if it's not 20 years old. All right, so I was really happy with how the living room came out. And one thing we did, so we installed this fan. Before, I think it was just a light. I'm not even sure if there was a light there, but we got the fan set up. And I think this is a nice, cozy space for somebody. And one thing we did, as you can see, there's a lot of furniture here. So when you're selling a property, it's kind of costly, but you get the money back when you stage it. So I spent about $3,500 on staging, and then we spent another $600 or $700 on photography. So we almost spent $5K in just getting this property ready to sell. However, as a result of doing that, the property looked like it was in the 1% of properties that have sold in this neighborhood. I got 3 offers, one that was above asking price with basically no contingencies. So, if you really want your property to sell, don't go the discount route, don't hire a discount agent, don't just put one flower pot as staging. You really got to present it, in the 1% of properties that's out there. So here's just a little storage closet, and that's actually where the hot water heater is. But you could put some coats and stuff. We got some extra flooring, so might have to use that on another project. If you see these floors again, you know, don't be surprised. So let's go take a look outside real quick. So actually, before we go outside, this door, I replaced this door. So it used to be this really old, like steel and glass door that just didn't work very well. So this is just much nicer, gives it a much nicer feel. All right, so outside, again, we did, you know, stuff that's gonna help the curb appeal, even though this is the backyard. We painted this door, so this is kind of like a security door, so we painted it. I think it looks really nice. We also painted this right here. So this, instead of just completely replacing it, just painting it, you know, made it look significantly better. And then we also painted this. So this cement area had like mold and just, not mold, but like algae and different stuff growing on it. So we got rid of that, painted it. It looks a lot better now. And then lastly, we did another light fixture. So again, paint and light fixtures, you know, can really go a long ways. If we wanted to get all crazy, you know, maybe we could add another wall right here, and then maybe do some type of setup with like some lights and different things, and, you know, build a tiki bar and get all crazy. But I think this gives enough for somebody to come in here and pretty much do whatever they want with the property. And then as far as the views, you got the nature view. I mean, it's hard to find nature views around the Washington, D.C. area. So look, I mean, it's not like you're overlooking a waterfall or anything, but you got some trees, you got a little bit of privacy. So, you know, it's not bad. All right, so as far as the stairway, I kind of like this railing, so we just kept this, we painted this, and then the stairs, we just made it kind of like a more modern look to it. So we painted it black with the white. Could still probably use a little bit of touch-up paint. And you know, before I listed the property, I did a final walkthrough with a final punch list, and touching up the paint was one of the things. And that's a really good idea to go around. After your contractor's done, there's always gonna be like 5 or 10 things that they could probably improve on. So always do that before you get your property listed. All right, so the upstairs looks a little bit different. Another thing we did, you know, change all the outlets and switches. Very easy to do. Same type of flooring upstairs. I didn't want to do carpet up here. I just figured, you know, we could just go all out with the luxury vinyl plank, and I think it looks pretty good. Up here we have the 2 closets. So for a small place, it's only about 812 square feet. Got some decent closet space. This would be the master bedroom. And then we have brand new windows, and we painted and obviously staged. So this place was looking pretty rough before, and I'm very happy with how it turned out. All right, so as far as the bathroom goes, we actually kept the tub. It was in good enough condition where we basically just refinished it. And there's tub companies, and usually it's like $300 or $400 or $500, and they can just make it look almost like it's brand new. So we kept that. We actually kept the tile as well and painted that. And then we did new shower fixtures, new vanity, new floors, new toilet, and painted the place. And you know, it was that simple, and I think the bathroom came out really well. All right, so this is the second bedroom. We didn't do lights or anything, but I think people can just, you know, plug in some different lights if they want to. And then again, we have the brand new windows, new screens, painted floors. And this one only has 1 closet, but it's still a pretty good sized bedroom for the size of this house. Oh look, we even got like a ledge over here. That actually goes back a lot further than I thought. There's actually some good storage back here. All right, so before I break down the numbers on this deal and how much profit I made, how much the repairs were, if you're a real estate agent who's looking to add, you know, flips as part of their business, as well as rentals, I have 3 or 4 of these deals going on right now, and I'm always doing usually a few deals per month. And I'm looking for different agents and also investors pretty much nationwide to work with. So if you're interested in that, definitely reach out to me in the links below, and we can have a quick conversation and see if it makes sense. Now, as far as the numbers on this deal, so I purchased this property about 3 or 4 months ago for $105. And including staging and photography, which like I mentioned was like $5,000, but also helped it sell much faster, I spent in total about $20,000 on this property. So, you know, 105 plus 20,000, that's 125. Now it's under contract right now for 170 with no credits, no inspections or anything like that. So when it's all said and done, I'll probably make about 25,000, which is not bad. This is like a quick little project. This is kind of fun. I mean, I wish, honestly, if this property was closer to where I lived, you know, I might even consider moving in, because it's a cute little place, you know what I mean? It's only 800 some square feet, 2 bedrooms, 1 bath.
But it was a nice little profit for a pretty easy deal. And like I mentioned earlier, all the materials that I used for this project are in the link below. So if you have a rental property or flip that you're doing or just want it for your own house, you can check out the materials I use. And then if you have any questions, drop them in the comment section below. And if you think I should have done something different on this renovation, let me know your opinion as well. I can take any type of criticism or compliments for that matter. So thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.